and goodness have appointed the offices of the leaders and legislative assembly for the welfare of the society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in the Republic. Let us, your blessings descend upon us, here assembled, and grant that we consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in just and faithful a manner, as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and those interests you have committed to our church. Amen. Yet attempts. Ring the bell for 10 minutes. Kuyo hoteli ni cafeteria pia ndo dumaite. Sergeant at arms. That's okay. Good morning, members. Clerk, let us start.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Proceed.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Members, under this business, we have we will communicate when the CC finance comes. Today we have budget highlights. Thank you. Continue.
Order number 3, messages.
Proceed.
Order number 4, petitions.
Proceed.
Order number 5, papers.
Under this business, we have under this order, we have 2 business. One by Honorable Winnie, or anybody belonging to Park Committee. Mheshimiwa Grace.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm standing for Honorable Winifred, Vice Chair, Park Committee. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday, the 25th day of May, 2022, report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Matungulu Water Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018. B. Honorable Speaker, I wish to lay on the table of the Assembly today, Wednesday, the 25th day of May, 2022, report of the Auditor General on financial statements of Machakos Water Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2019. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Clerk, proceed. Clerk.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Okay, under this order, we have 2 business, and Honorable Joanna has come in. He was the one to prosecute. Honorable Joanna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Johanna, sitting in for the Chair, Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 225, Sub-Article 5 of the Constitution provides that the Auditor General may audit and report on the accounts of any entity that is funded from public funds. Further aware that Article 229, Sub-Article 7 of the Constitution says that the audit reports shall be submitted to the Parliament or the relevant county assembly, cognizant that the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Matungulu Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018 was received in the assembly pursuant to Article 229, Sub-Article 7 of the Constitution. Further aware that the report was committed to the Committee of Public Accounts and Investment pursuant to Standing Order number 185, 2B and C that states that the Public Accounts and Investment Committee shall be responsible for examination of reports, accounts, and workings of the county public investment and whether the affairs of the public investments are being managed in accordance with sound financial or business principles and prudent commercial practices. Aware that the committee, after receipt of the report, conducted several meetings with the accounting officers, together with officers from the Office of the Auditor General, and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this House discusses and approves the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Matungulu Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Just proceed. We have another notice.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Notice of motion. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 229, Subarticle 5 of the Constitution provides the Auditor General may audit and report on the accounts of any entity that is funded from public funds. Further aware that Article 229, Subarticle 7 of the Constitution states that the audit reports shall be submitted to the Parliament or the relevant county assembly. Cognizant that the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2019 was received in the Assembly pursuant to Article 229, Subarticle 7 of the Constitution. Further aware that the report was committed to the Committee of Public Accounts and Investments pursuant to Standing Order number 185, 2B and C that states that the Public Accounts and Investments Committee shall be responsible for examination of reports, accounts, and workings of the county public investments, and whether the affairs of the public investments are being managed in accordance with sound financial or business principles and prudent commercial practices. Aware that the committee, after receipt of the report, conducted several meetings with the accounting officers together with the officers from the Office of the Auditor General and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice of motion that this House discusses and approves report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2019. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Clerk.
Order number 7, statements.
Proceed.
Order number 8, motion, approval of reports of Auditor General on financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018.
Mheshimiwa Joanna.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018 by the Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Mr. Speaker, I request that I just handle...
Mheshimiwa, you need a second.
Sorry. Mr. Speaker, I request Honorable Dominic Ndambuki.
Have you done the motion? The motion. Then motion.
Sorry. Approval of report of Auditor General on financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018. Honorable Speaker, that aware that Article 229, Subarticle 5 of the Constitution provides the Auditor General may audit and report on the accounts of any entity that is funded from public funds. Further aware that Article 229, Subarticle 7 of the Constitution states that the Auditor General reports shall be submitted to Parliament or the relevant county assembly. Cognizant that the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018 was received in the Assembly pursuant to Article 229, Subarticle 7 of the Constitution. Further aware that the report was committed to the Committee of Public Accounts and Investments pursuant to Standing Order number 185, 2B and C, that states that the Public Accounts and Investments Committee shall be responsible for examination of reports, accounts, and workings of the county public investments, and whether the affairs of the public investments are being managed in accordance with sound financial or business principles and prudent commercial practices. Aware that the committee, after receipt of the report, conducted several meetings with the accounting officers together with the officers from the Office of the Auditor General and consequently compiled a report. Honorable Speaker, I wish to move the motion that this House discusses and approves the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018. I wish to call upon Honorable Phoebe Koki to second my motion.
Honorable Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and the House at large. Phoebe Koki, a special elected member by the Untitled Chapter Party. I stand to second the motion. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Honorable Joanna.
Thank you.
You'll just do the summary.
The summary, thank you. I wish to go to page 3, receipt of the report and conduct of interrogation. Honorable Speaker, the audit report on financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 2018 was received in the Assembly on 7th January 2022, pursuant to Article 229, Subarticle 7 of the Constitution and Section 39, Subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act 2015. It is good to note that while observing the constitutional requirements, this report should have been received in the Assembly latest by end of January 2019, hence the report was late by 3 years. This is in contravention of Section 48, Subsection 1 of the Public Audit Act 2015 that states that the Auditor General to audit and report on accounts audited 6 months after the end of the fiscal year in question. The Committee on Public Accounts, while exercising its mandate as provided in the Standing Order 185, invited the accounting officer and conducted interrogation the audit report on 22nd February 2022. This is pursuant to Article 226, Subarticle 2 of the Constitution that provides that the accounting officer of a county public entity is accountable to the county assembly for its financial management. Honorable Speaker, the report is classified under qualified opinion. In describing the report, the Auditor General stated as follows. In my opinion, except for the effect of matters described in the basis of the qualified opinion section of my report, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of Matungulu Water and Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company as at 30th June 2018 and its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with the International Public Sector Accounting Standards, Cash Basis, and the Public Financial Management Act 2021 of the laws of Kenya. Sorry. Queries in the financial statements. Mr. Speaker, query number 1, unsupported balance of property, plant, and equipment. Committee observation. A schedule of items that were purchased worthy 8,173,327 was availed to the committee and confirmed on its accuracy. However, the said schedule was not provided to the auditor during the time of audit as provided in Section 9 of the Public Audit Act 2015E that states that the Auditor General shall have powers of unrestricted access to all books, records, returns, reports, electronic or otherwise, and other documents of entities listed under Article 229, Subarticle 4 of the Constitution. Committee's recommendation. The schedule of items that was given to the committee should be forwarded to the Auditor General for verification to necessitate closure of the query. Irregular payment to the board directors. Committee observations. The committee confirmed that there was no letter for renewal of the term of the said directors to serve in the following 3 years from 2014 up to 2016. The committee was provided with a letter from the CEO, Tana Athi, reference TAWSB/WSP volume 4/22 dated 16th June 2016 for extension of service from 2016 to 2018. This was after the directors had served for 3 years from 2014 without a letter of renewal of their terms of service. Committee's recommendation. The said directors should be surcharged for 3 years they served without a letter of formal engagement. Abandoned construction works on Stony Athi sewer line. Committee observation. The analysis of the query confirms that the contract period of the project was to lapse in September 2017. However, a site visit conducted 5 months later indicated that the project was 85% complete, hence the contractor contravened the contract period agreement. 2. The delay led to project destruction by floods which occurred in the following year in April 2018. And 3. After the project was swept away by floods, the owner of the project, who was National Housing Corporation, offered the contract to another contractor who completed the work. Committee's recommendation: in future, if the company wins contracts, it should strictly stick to the contract terms to avoid uncertainties as stated in the query. Non-revenue water. Committee observation. 1. The company has improved in the reduction of non-revenue water because it registered 33% of non-revenue water, which is slightly above the allowable 25% threshold. And 2. The company has set up good strategies of reducing non-revenue water, such as installing digital meters, which, if well implemented, will solve the problem by a greater extent. Recommendation. The committee recommends that the company should implement the proposed strategies, which will greatly reduce the non-revenue water, hence increasing revenue expected from the water sales. Conclusion. Honorable Speaker, the committee wishes to acknowledge the office of the Speaker and that of the clerk for facilitating the committee to undertake its business, the accounting officer for Mavoko Water Company, and the office of the Auditor General for turning up to participate in the interrogation exercise. It is therefore my privilege and pleasure on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee to table before this Honorable House the report on financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 2018 for discussion and adoption. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I now propose the question that this House discusses and approve the report of Auditor General on financial statement of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended June 2018. Members, you are welcome to debate. As you know, we are still waiting for the CC Finance to come. So let us prolong the House as we wait for them. Honorable Katumo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Justice Katumo, the voice. Want to applaud the mover of the motion who read the report for doing it so clearly for us. Honorable Speaker, you'll find out that we have had issues with these water companies, and especially Mavoko Water and Sewage Company. We had gaps where we had unfinished projects and the queries according to the Auditor General and the report that we have been receiving. On a positive note, I've realized that they have improved, especially on the non-revenue waters, and try to minimize on the wastage and increase on the areas of revenue and try to minimize on the wastage. And therefore, I think going forward, although the report says that it has been delayed for 3 years, we need to be receiving reports in good time so that the recommendations that we make in this house will be useful going forward. And therefore, I think it's a good report. If well implemented by the various departments and agencies, I think we can see improvement on the quality of the services that we require from Mavoko Water and Sewage Company. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'm Alex Kamitu, Leader of Minority in this Honorable House, and MC Talawad. Honorable Speaker, going through this report, you have seen from 2015, around that time, the directors who are running this company, really, during the Auditor General report, there were documents, very important documents that were not presented during the Auditor General. And as per the committee recommendation, there should be a follow-up in regard to the directors being surcharged, because this is a public utility, and when we are talking about money being misused, it is important that the committee also should make a follow-up in regard to the surcharge, that money, public money, should be returned to the company. And in relationship to what Honorable Justice has said, the indication now is that the current directors are running the company in a sense that there are some gain. There are some gains in regard to the committee management. So once again, Honorable Speaker, I would also suggest not only to this committee for water or our public investment committee, our recommendation would be, or observation would be, it would be very important, very prudent that such committee should be making some regular visits to such companies to ensure that the management is run smoothly. Otherwise, it's a good report, only that a follow-up should be made. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Honorable Mweni.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Bendeta Musyoka, nominated by Wiper. Mine is a concern. I saw in the TV a minister who was in the executive being shown that he had stolen money. And in this report, I have not heard about him. So I asked the clerks to be knowing where the money and how the money came on. Mr. Speaker, I know you are going to tell me that I'm out of order, but you have heard.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Thomas Mutinda, Member of County Assembly, Wamonyo Ward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity, and I want to thank the committee for this good report, Mr. Speaker. However, I would like to just say something on the issue of the directors. Mr. Speaker, we have heard that the directors extended a time offer for 3 years, and mine is to just say that if they took 3 years to be in office, and this audit have been being done yearly, because Kenya National Audit Office does its audit mostly every year. So it shouldn't have been realized in the first year that they have overstayed for a year. after another year. Now it's the third year. So I think there's a gap there where somebody somewhere is sleepy on his or a job, because they are under supervision of somebody, the directors. There's the authority, the appointing authority which appointed them, and action should have been taken earlier. And again, I have not heard any action also being taken for the appointing authority, because everybody in Kenya is under supervision except the president. So if there was a supervisor for these directors, then how did they continue serving, signing things, public documents without an authority? So it's questionable. And also the other thing is urge the house committees who supervise, the sectoral committees who supervise the departments, the committee on environment, water and irrigation, in future to be steadfast to see some of these things. And also, Honorable Speaker, I request that in future, for those who will come and for those who in this house will make back to this house, more training should be done rigorously so that the sectoral committees are able to monitor and supervise before these things appear in these reports. The other thing is on the projects, Honorable Speaker. There's a report, in the report there's issue of a delay in projects. And what I do understand on projects, Mr. Speaker, is that the moment the engineer is making the BQ, any delay from the last completion date, because projects have first earliest start date and the latest finish date. From the latest finish date, unless the contractor gives a report which is acceptable by the employer that he or she is delaying the project because of this and this reason, any week which surpasses the last date of the project is chargeable from the project money. Every week. So, who slept on his or her job there? Because we should have seen the recoveries. And that calls for a threshold for the report and this house to approve for further investigations. Because then value for money was not realized. Value for money in terms of time was not realized. And no recoveries were made. Where did the recoveries go, Honorable Speaker? So I stop there and urge that this report be taken seriously and set face for such reports so that everybody is on toes when we are dealing with public funds and public property. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Any other member who wish to contribute? Mover, can you reply?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to take this opportunity to appreciate the House for the input given on the report. Mr. Speaker, of concern, as indicated by the committee, there has been a challenge, especially regarding the timings. I indicated that the report for 2018 was received in the year the report for the year ended 2018 was received in the Assembly on January 7th, 2022. It has been a great concern in this House that wherever Public Accounts and Investment Committee tables a report, it sounds like it is an old report. It should be known to the House that we have a challenge which has already, or which is being addressed when there was a lapse in the office of the Auditor General, and we were assured during the derogation that going forward, we will be receiving timely reports. So I would like to state that Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company, being part of the water service providers in the county. The challenges posed here seem to cut across even the other water companies. The issues of non-revenue water, which have featured in the report, due to losses resulting from broken infrastructure and maybe theft at times, is an issue, or rather it's an area which needs to be addressed seriously. For Mavoko, we realized that that improved the non-revenue water losses from 33 up to 33, managed them to 33%, slightly above the allowable 25% threshold. So to us, Mavoko has really addressed that issue compared to other water companies. The other issue is on the abandoned construction works, which we as committee indicated that it is very important. Wherever a contractor wins a contract, they stick to the terms of the contract. If there is need and the implementing body realizes that contractor is not adhering to the timelines, there is a process of terminating such contract and awarding to another contractor, so that we take care of taxpayers' money. I want to appreciate the House for your input, and we take seriously the need to implement such recommendations. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, the House, for supporting our report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I now put the question that this House discusses and approve report of Auditor General of financial statements of Mavoko Water and Sewerage Company for the year ended 30th June 2018. As many as of the opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, members. As you have had you contributing, we want the next assembly to be more serious on following up the issues. And now, because we have a new clerk, and also let me take this opportunity to congratulate him, Honorable Mutisia, for becoming the second clerk, of this Machakos County Assembly. Let the follow-up be made. Members, at this time, will suspend the House for 15 minutes. We are not adjourning. We are just suspending it for 15 minutes as we wait for the CC. We are not adjourning. We are just suspending the House.